You ever wonder why one contractor's Google Ads tends to print money for their company while the other guy will spend $5,000 plus a month and barely get any phone calls? Or even why some companies tend to show up on Google 24/7 while out paying for a dime? Well, in this video, we're going to be covering and breaking down the Google Ads versus SEO for contractors in 2026. And here's what we're going to cover. Number one, the pros and cons of each one of those strategies and what you need to implement. Number two, which one is actually going to be worth your money so you know what to invest in for your company. And number three, the mistake that most contractors make that keeps both of them from working the way that they should. So let's jump right into the video. Now let's start with Google Ads. Now when we're talking about Google Ads, let me just be upfront here. We're talking about the pay-per-click ads, PPC. All right. We're not talking about local service ads. You should be running local service ads. It's going to be one of the best forms of advertising on Google. I think this is a great way to supplement and grow. But this is just pay-per-click ads we're talking about, not local service ads. I want to make that clear. So, but when you do run pay-per-click ads, right, we want to think of it like, not necessarily flipping a switch because it's not necessarily that quick and easy, but it's instant visibility. You're going to start showing up towards the top. You're going to start getting leads a lot faster than obviously if you're investing time in local SEO. So when someone searches for like roof repair near me or fence company near me, like you're going to be right there at the top showing up with the ad because you're paying to be there. But here's the catch. It's also the fastest way to burn through cash if you don't feed the AI system, the AI machine, good data to optimize those campaigns. So let's get into the pros, cons, when to actually use it. So first thing is, let's go into pros. So when it comes to pros, obviously, like I said before, it's quick visibility. You're paying to immediately show up towards the top, okay? Number two, measures return on investment with conversion tracking. So if you can easily measure, like you could set up tracking softwares like what converts, and you can easily measure like where the lead came from. Did it come from a specific ad or and then what landing page did it go to? And then on the back end, you can say, oh, this converted into book call and then a sale, right? And then you can feed that data back into Google and you can optimize those campaigns so you can get a faster return on investment than most of the time with things like meta ads, right? Next thing, you control targeting. So if you're going after a specific area, let's say it's outside of a 10-mile radius from where your office is located, maybe you have a remote office and you want to go after a more affluent neighborhood, meaning somebody's going to pay more money for your services, right? They have the money for that, or bigger jobs. Then you can control targeting for those specific areas. And then you can manipulate your Google Ads to speak to those type of customers so they'll click on your link and obviously give you a call. Next, last thing is scaling with follow-up systems. Now, when we're talking about this, essentially what I mean by this is, do you have a good business? Are you good with sales? Are you focusing on a sales process that provides value and is closing deals, and you're tracking that, right? We have another video, we'll pop a little card up on the screen somewhere, that talks about the best way to track this, right, inside that training video. And if you are tracking like where your leads are coming from, if you're tracking, you know, how many of those are converting into book jobs, how many of those are closing, and you're working on your closing percentage going from like 20 to 30%, right, for more profitable jobs, that's going to help you scale faster with this system, right? Because you can track and use data. No gut feelings, no I feel like or that. You can really look at hard data and go, these are the kind of people that are booking, these are the kind of people that are closing deals. So it just allows you to make better decisions so you can scale faster with Google Ads. So those are the big pros. Now, the cons of everything. Ooh. Ad cost. So since 2022, Google Ads have just got more expensive. Advertising got more expensive. Just the way it is. And I don't think it's going to go down anytime soon. I think it's just going to move to where the attention flows. That's where they're going to be putting ads. So when you have things like AI overview coming into place, guess what? Right now there's no ads in AI overview or in ChatGPT, but guess what? There will probably be ads within the next 12 months of making this video, I promise. So maybe by the end of 2026, you're going to see ads inside of ChatGPT or ads inside of AI overview. So just keep that in mind. And guess what? It's probably going to be expensive to get there. Just keep that in mind. Next, smart bidding wastes cash if you don't track jobs. Now, if you don't have conversion tracking set up, if you're not tracking them on the back end, you're going to burn through cash. Because when I talk about smart, right, I say smart bidding. Google is one huge AI machine. And it's been running on AI for a while. Not like AI is creating your ads like we're talking about now that they're doing, but like it's been for years, it's been an AI machine. feeding your information and data to show your ad up to the right people. So if you're not putting information and giving it data back that's saying these are converting and not optimizing using negative keywords, then you're going to burn through cash, period. End of story. All right, next, it feeds on good data. So if you have a bad website, it's going to cost you more money. Meaning, like if you're running ads to a Google landing page, let's say you are getting leads, and let's say you are closing some of them. But if Google doesn't have good data, it's going to keep burning through cash, burning through your ad spend. So you having a good website that has conversion tracking set up and inside that website, so we know what's working and what's not. That is what's going to help the algorithm, right? Help the AI machine feed your ads to better people. Okay. Last, you're renting attention. You're not owning it. And that's the key right there. Okay. You're paying rent to show up at the top. The second you stop paying, you don't show up. This is like, and I'll make this comparison. There's a lot of marketing companies. They call themselves marketing companies. They're not. They're lead gen companies. To me, a marketing company focuses on brand and a lot of whatever. We won't get into that. But there's some companies out there now that run ads for things like, we'll get you ranked in the top 3 within 30 days, like as far as like mapping's concerned. But the problem with those companies is they take shortcuts, they use black hat tricks, and the second you stop paying is you don't show up. So you don't build the infrastructure you need. So same thing here, if you're running Google ads, the con of it is if you stop paying, you stop showing up, you stop getting leads. So you have to keep constantly paying it in. So that's the realities of it. All right, when do you use Google ads? If you need jobs sooner than later, right? Typically, you're going to get leads faster here this way. Not always going to be perfect, not always going to be ready to roll immediately, but they're usually higher intent and ready to move forward. So you're going to tend to get more jobs sooner than later, maybe 30 days instead of 90. You serve multiple cities. So once again, if you're trying to go after cities or break into new markets, this is the best way to do it because you can put your ad in front of those people without having to spend time working on building up your online presence in that market. You've got clean tracking and fast follow-up. Once again, do you have a solid, it's just all that means is, do you have a solid business in place? Do you have a sales process in place? And you're constantly working on improving that and increasing those percentages and tracking. And then if you service customers in a large radius to location. So what we mean is, and we're getting to the SEO side. SEO is focused on, Google has a filter on the city in which your office is located. So like primary example, like if I want to service Birmingham, Alabama, I'm not located in Birmingham. We're close. We're in a metro area. We're in the metro area, but I'm in Pelham, Alabama. So honestly, like I'm going to be servicing businesses in Pelham because that's the way Google is going to see my IP address. They're going to see where I'm located. They're going to see that I am in Pelham, Alabama. So they're not going to serve people in the Birmingham area. They're going to serve people in the Pelham market and that 10-mile radius around my office. So which is actually great because we have a ton of businesses around here. But that being said, keep that in mind. Your office location is huge, but Google Ads will help you because I say I want to service people in Trussville, Alabama, which is 30, 40 minutes away from me, but it's a great area. Or, Hoover, which is right next door. So if I want to go outside of my radius, Google Ads is going to help you get there. Now let's talk local SEO. Now, this is your long game. SEO is what keeps the phone ringing even when your Google Ads are turned off. So it's going to be your website, your Google business profile, your reviews, your online reputation and directories. All of these things work together to keep you ranked at the top and keep your phone ringing without paying for ads. So let's get in the pros, the cons, when to use this. So first, let's talk about the pros. All right. So first, it's going to help you build long-term trust. Now, it's not only a long-term trust with homeowners, right, or your ideal customers, but it's long-term trust with Google, right, and online directories and Bing and Yahoo, because you have to show trust with them first with an SEO strategy before they will show your business organically to people, because they want people to have a great experience when they're searching on their platforms. And if you don't provide them a great experience, they bounce off your website quick, you don't answer the questions that they have, they're not going to show your business. So it requires you to have a clean SEO strategy from making sure that your Google business profile is optimized, making sure your contact information is exactly the same across all platforms, and then it's making sure that you're providing good information, like through blog posts, and providing good information on your website that is a great user experience. When you do all of these things and then you tell Google the areas you serve and you have a location in the right market, right? If you have a location that's like right in the middle of where you serve, then yes, SEO is going to be a huge factor for you. So it's going to, once you build that long-term trust with Google, Yahoo, Bing, all those search engines, and it's going to be hugely impactful, and it's going to build trust with both things. So next, let's get into boosting credibility and pricing power. So when people see you show up all the time, show up in the map pack, show up on Google, and you just keep showing up every time they search for something. Maybe they're doing research and you show up, and then maybe the next time they're like, oh, let's look out some companies. Maybe the next time like, all right, I'm trying to decide, but you keep showing up every time. It's going to give you more opportunities, and they're also just going to see you as a company that's worthwhile, right? Like, well, if they keep showing up and they've got great reviews, then obviously, I mean, they're going to charge for money. They're going to be a quality company. So it allows you to do those things. And it's going to, like I said, once you stop ads, like this is just going to give you pure margin when it comes to marketing. Next, free clicks after ranking. Phone's going to keep ringing. People are going to keep calling you because organically you're going to show up. I know some people won't click on ads because they're like, well, maybe they're not a good business and I see this as an ad, so they're just trying to get to the top. I'm going to go to the organic people because I know they're probably going to be quality. And people will do that. They think that way. I do that. I don't click on ads because I know it costs people money. So I just do my research. But that being said, it means you're going to get free clicks. You don't have to pay for it with Google Ads. They're just going to be clicking on you because you are ranking. And then it feeds AI overviews in the map pack. So let me talk about map pack first. Map pack is when they search for your company, the first thing that pops up is local service ads. Second thing that pops up is going to be the maps. It's going to have a 1, 2, 3 on it. Sometimes there's an ad in there, but for the most part, 1, 2, 3, and it's going to show location. This is where having an office location in an area in which you serve is going to be huge. Okay, because like I talked about a minute ago, Google has a filter on your location. So if, for instance, like I'm in Pelham, my office location is going to show in Pelham. So it's going to view your search radius around Pelham, Alabama. And then after you get outside of there on the maps, it's not really going to show up anymore, right? Or it's going to be difficult for it to show up more often. So they know, like if you're going to service an area 20 miles away or 30 miles away, it is worth the investment to go find an office. And it's a marketing investment. It's an investment you can write off. Go find an office, put a location there, get a Google Business Profile there, right? The more Google Business Profile locations and office locations you have in the areas you want to service, the more you're going to show up on the maps, the more people are going to call your business. So you got to think about, if you have your sales process dialed in and you can close deals, it's worth it if I'm a contractor, right? And I'm closing $15,000 roofs. Well, I'm going to go if most of my jobs come in a location where I may spend $800 a month on an office location with a sign, everything you need, and it's going to help me get, 800 times 12, I can't do the math on that, whatever, it's less than 12 grand. So maybe I'll spend 10 grand on an office location, but because I've spent money on SEO and I've invested in that, now all of a sudden I'm probably going to get another 5-10 jobs off of that one location that's going to pay for that office easily. Right? Easily. So keep that in mind. That's how it feeds the map pack. Now, AI overview. Let's talk about that because this right here is coming. And by that, I mean it's already here as of this video. So if you don't know what AI overview is, when people are asking questions about the services and stuff that you offer, a lot of times this is going to give them an answer in AI overview first. And in there, it's going to link back to companies who have provided, or websites or blog posts that have provided that information. So if you're not putting out good information and your website's not structured properly for Google to read it or AI to read it, then it's not going to show up in AI overview and you're going to lose clicks that way. But if you have a good infrastructure filled out, a good online digital presence, you're answering the right questions, then you're going to show up in that AI overview. They're going to get their information and go, I need to learn more, and then there's going to be a link in there. They're going to click that link and go. ChatGPT is doing the same thing. And to give you a real life example, we have probably gotten, inside of my marketing company, we have probably gotten 6 phone calls this month from people who found us in ChatGPT locally in this marketing area within a 15-mile radius, because we spend time on our own website, on our own online presence, putting out the information people need to understand about Google Business Profile, understand about SEO, ads, marketing. And what's happening is they're asking these questions to get these problems solved, and we're showing up, and then they're calling us for help. And most of the time I've asked, and when everybody calls our business, especially if I've never heard of them, or they're not in my organic pipeline. I'm like, hey, I'm curious, how did you find me? And they're like, oh, well, I was searching this problem online and you showed up on ChatGPT. So you must be doing something right. That's what they all say. You must be doing something right if you show up in ChatGPT. So keep that in mind. All of this stuff is huge pros. Can help you drive more traffic with AI overview. So keep that in mind. Now, let's get into the cons. Okay. It takes months, not days. I don't care what anybody says online. Unless you already have an online digital presence built out, if you're starting from scratch, it takes months. Like you're looking at 6 to 8 months to really start seeing some great traffic from SEO strategies. Now, if you already had some stuff built in place and you're starting to build on that, then great. But it takes time. All right, you don't start lifting weights and then 3 weeks later, or 30 days later, all of a sudden you're just ripped and buff. Like that takes time. I mean, it just is. Anything good takes time. And if somebody tells you otherwise, they're lying to you, or they're cutting corners, or they're doing stuff they're not supposed to. And if you're a legitimate company that doesn't like to cut corners, hates those companies that cut corners, you're going to understand this. Now, it is a con because it does take time and you have to invest money in it, and you're not going to see a return for a while. This just is what it is. All right, next. You can't outrank distance. This sucks for service-based businesses. And the reason why it sucks is because you serve a wider radius than 10 miles. It's really built more for brick and mortar type stores for location. It just is. And that's the part that's difficult because they're going to, like if you're a restaurant, right, it's great for that because people in 10-mile radius is going to show up when they want food. And it'll help drive more traffic that way. But when it comes to service-based businesses, it only goes to 10, 15-mile radius. And that's kind of about it when it comes to the maps, right? And that maps is where a lot of your traffic is going to come from. Now, it'll still show up organically for larger locations. Like we're focused on Alabama, an Alabama SEO company, whatever. Like we're going to start ranking organically for that, or like marketing company in Birmingham. Like it's still outside of a 20-mile radius, but we're still going to show up in the search part of that. So we may not show up in the map pack, but we do want to show up in searches. So you can still show up in the searches, but maps is going to be practically impossible, and that's just a Google thing. No marketing company can help you outside of that. Next, AI overview will still clicks if you're not cited. So if you don't have a good SEO strategy, don't have the infrastructure in place, AI overview is just going to take the clicks and send them off to somebody else who does have it in place. Okay, that's just the con of it. So you have to continuously be building on that, answering the questions people are asking. That needs consistent upkeep, or rankings will fade. So it's like anything else, man. Like you should never stop marketing your company or business. You're always going to be doing that. Marketing and sales should be the number one things that you focus on in your company, next to production and obviously keeping the right people. Like I get that, but if you don't have anything coming in the door, then you don't have a business, right? If you don't have sales, you don't have a business. So, but to upkeep and stay on the rankings, you have to maintain. But it's like same thing. Let's go back to working out for a moment. You can work out, get to the point where like I'm at the top, I'm at peak performance, but then I'm going to stop doing nothing else. We're just going to get fat again. That's it. Right? You're just going to drop in rankings. So you still have to continue to maintain and optimize, but it's way cheaper to do that with SEO than it is with just keep paying for Google Ads, where the cost could keep going up and up and up, or they could throw a wrench in the algorithm and completely make you have to re-optimize for 2 months to get it back up to date. So just keep that in mind with con as far as SEO. Now, let's talk about when do you use this thing. Here's the number one. When you want stable calls all year long. The biggest thing any contractor or service-based business owner that comes to us for marketing, they're like, I just want my phone to ring, or I want to be busy, or I just don't want to worry about calls coming into my company. I just want them to keep coming. They don't want to worry about marketing, advertising, all that stuff. And SEO is the way to do it. As long as it's a good fit, right? You got to fit the criteria, and you need to understand that. And we set that expectation ahead of time before we bring people into an SEO strategy. But you got to understand you have to have the right location. You have to have a good search volume. You have to have a good market of where you serve in order for SEO to make sense. Because if you don't have enough traffic, not enough search volume, people aren't searching for what you offer, you're not in a radius where there's a lot of that happening, then SEO doesn't make sense for your business. And so we won't even bring people on unless if that's happening, okay? But once you have it up there and optimized, boom, calls are coming in year round. Next, you're building, let's go over here. You're building brand and reviews. Now, most companies, they won't spend time on brand, or they won't spend time on brand until like they're stable. And I get that, 100% I get that. you should have some type of brand focus as you're building your business, meaning like, what do you want to stand for? What kind of company do you want to be? What kind of values do you want to have? Like, you should be constantly thinking about that and working on that. And then you should always be getting reviews. You should all be getting referrals, always. So if you're really brand focused, SEO is the way to go. Next, and this is a little bit longer. This is misconstrued here a little bit. You got to have time to invest. I say 3 to 6 months. That's if somebody who's already, really 6 months. That's if somebody who's already kind of established in the market, has a good website, already has a good, decent presence in place, then yeah, you're looking at like 6 months, you could start getting a lot better rankings. But if you're starting from scratch, 12-month minimum. That's just what it's going to take. Nothing else around it. Anybody tells you faster, yeah. Now, do some people get results faster than others? Sure they do. Sometimes it's the market. Sometimes it's Google hasn't changed an algorithm. Sometimes it's another competitor hasn't snuck into the market and maybe they're stealing click. Like, there's always parameters and ways, there's always things that are going to affect a campaign. But if you're brand new, 12 months is where you need to be at. Last thing, you're ready to stack results that compound over time. So when it comes to SEO, so number one, you're building out a website that Google can read easily and will provide a great experience for a customer and gets all the information you need and shows Google easily where you show up, where you do business, how you do business, who you do business with, like all that's clear on your website. Then it's going to show it to customers. And then what you're going to do is build out blog posts that's going to answer those questions. Okay, those blog posts are going to have links to them, and they're going to link back to your website. And then you're going to go get backlinks from local authority companies or businesses in your area, not necessarily industry specific, but just local authority in general. And they're going to send you backlinks to show that you're a local authority in the market. And then you're going to go get industry specific backlinks. They're going to backlink to your business. And then all of those are going to compound and keep pulling traffic from their sites into your site. And then they're all going to be interlinking together. You're going to have links on these blog posts, going to this blog post, going to this pillar blog post that talks about one topic, and that's all going to go feedback in your website. And this just keeps compounding over time. And Google keeps recognizing it as an authority because you get more traffic. It's kind of like the rich gets richer, right? So keep that in mind. If you're ready to stack this and compound it so you're never worried about phone calls again, SEO, that's the way to go. Now, which one do you choose for your company? Okay, so one, ads are going to give you speed. SEO is going to give you leverage. Now, what do we mean by this? So Google Ads, here's the thing you want to know. So Google Ads, if you're new to the market or you have a seasonal type launch, Google Ads is the way to go. Okay, you need to fill schedule gaps fast. All right, primary example, we had a fence contractor reach out to us. They're like, I have this time of year, we usually have a few leads come in, but they go, we have nothing, absolutely nothing. Now, results may vary, but we hopped in and because they were managing their own Google Ads, had been for years, but nothing was working because Google's introducing new things like Performance Max, and so you got to know how to work the new system. That being said, we took over the ad account, and this was in, I think, early October or whatever, and by middle of October, they already had halfway through November. Within 2 weeks, they had halfway through November booked out. And I haven't checked back in because we're not at the end of the month to check back in. But when we check back in, I guarantee you they're probably booked out through November and probably putting jobs into December when usually it's a time that's completely dead. So we were able to turn it around quickly and fill the schedule gaps fast that they didn't have. Now, results may vary. Doesn't happen always. But we were able to do that for this fence contractor, which is awesome. So very worth their investment. They're able to start turning jobs over and keep their revenue coming in when it's the slow season. Okay. And then if you're testing any new offers in the market, so trying to test an offer with SEO is almost impossible because you have to rank and do all the stuff for months and then decide, oh, it doesn't work. So if you need to test new offers or new seasonal promotions you're doing, Google Ads really is the best way to go there. Now, SEO. When do you use SEO? So you want to use it when you want stability and growth. Okay, so we're going for, once again, long-term brand trust because brand is important. You want people to remember your name and remember your company. And you want them to search for your company. You don't want them to search for a roofing company or a fence company or a painting company or whatever company. You want them searching for Presto Media, Presto Fences, Dias Concrete Fencing. I'm just naming off companies. You want them searching your name. So building a brand, it's hugely important. So they're just going to search your business name. At Presto Media, if you search Presto Media right now, we are #1 in the country for the brand name. That's important to me, because if somebody hears my brand name, or maybe they're looking for marketing and they're like, oh, I heard of a Presto Media, and they search that brand name, I'm showing up first. And guess what that's going to do? It's going to make people go, wait a minute, I thought I was searching for this company, but this company's first. I'm going to go call them. All right, lower cost per lead over time, 100%. If people can trust your brand, they're more likely to convert, period. And if you can show, and this is a trust economy, all right, going into 2026, you need to show trust, okay? You need to make sure that you're trusting them, or that you're showing trust online. And when you're showing up at the top, and when you have a good brand, and when you're providing great information that provides value, it's going to build trust, lower your cost per lead. Strengthens Google Maps and AI trust, okay? And then builds reputation and local authority, all right? Now, if you want predictable growth, speed plus leverage is going to give you the consistent jobs year round. What's is going to bring us into the next part? How they work together in 2026. Okay, this is huge. Google's AI system is looking at your entire ecosystem, not just your ads. And when I talk about ecosystem, we're talking about your entire online digital presence is huge in this part. So if you don't have the SEO infrastructure, okay, or let's not say don't for a moment. Let's talk about what you should have and what you do have, right? Because let's talk about the positives. If you have a fast website that loads up and converts well, if you have strong reviews and you're getting them consistently, if you have local photos and content that's helping people out on your website, then you're going to show up in SEO. But guess what? That's going to feed into your ads. That's going to lower your cost per click because you're more reputable. People are going to click on your ad. It's going to give you higher quality scores on your ad campaigns, meaning like the ad's quality is going to show to more people are going to convert. And you're going to get more conversions and leads at a lower cost, okay? Well, guess what? That's going to help drive more traffic into here, okay? And it's going to feed your SEO. So both top contractors, when it comes to Google in 2026, are going to win because both these systems are going to keep talking to each other. Like we're seeing this everywhere now, where even when it comes to meta ads, and it has nothing to do with this, but right now, if you don't have a good, strong organic presence that's providing value, when you're running meta ads, I don't care if it's AI videos going out, I don't care if it's normal video ads or whatever, if you don't have a strong organic presence, your ads are going to tank and tank fast. Because the organic presence, which is SEO, right? That's the organic side, is what's building the trust, because people are going to do their research. They need to trust you first, and this is a trust economy. So having a good infrastructure organically is going to make the ads perform, but they're going to see your ad, they're going to look you up, they're going to dig into your information, find out if they can solve the problem, and then they're going to call your business. So you have to have both. So like when we're putting contractors in Google when it comes to 2026, we're putting them on both, because that's what's going to benefit their business. Even if, like if you're going to run Google ads, you need to spend time here with SEO, even if SEO doesn't make sense for ranking purposes, you still need a good infrastructure in place. You need a good website. You need good content, because that's going to help improve your ads. So honestly, we're putting everybody on both in 2026 that come to Presto Media, because that's what's going to work best. Same thing with like meta ads. We won't run meta ads unless they're putting out good organic social media content. Because if you're not having that going out consistently, meta ads aren't going to work for you. So keep that in mind. That's how they're going to work together. And you should be doing both if you really want long-term sustainable growth, and you want predictable growth, and you want growth to happen steady over time so you can win in 2026. So now you know the difference between Google Ads and local SEO and how they're actually going to power each other up in 2026. So before you start going and running ads or hiring a company, there's one huge problem that most contractors don't even realize. And I talked about this before in the video, where a company was doing their own ads and they started getting no leads at all. It's because Google's AI was secretly draining their budget without giving them leads. So if you'll click above the screen, we'll put it up here. There's a video that talks about how AI is draining your ad budget and how you can overcome that with step-by-step instructions, so you can take back control of your Google ad campaigns that may be tanking if you're doing it yourself. But as always, we always recommend hiring a professional marketing company. It doesn't have to be ours at Presto Media. It could be anyone that's professional, that shows results, that have value, that show that they can do the work. give them a call, have them run your marketing, because it's getting too difficult nowadays, too complex, and you need to spend time building other parts of your business. So if you want to work with us, right, or book a call, get a strategy, there's a link below. Obviously, you need to be in business for a year and actually have, referrals and at least be doing $1 million plus in order to really give us a call to help you. Because if you're not, there's other things you can do in your business, or we have a ton of content on this channel that can help you out. So till next time, hope this helps.